like to share with you a little bit about myself, Shawnique Cotton. I am originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. At the age of 21, I walked into a nightclub, and within 10 minutes, I was shot. Due to being shot, I was diagnosed with having paralysis as a T2 paraplegic. I was in the hospital for about a month and a half. I was in rehab for almost a little over 3 months. I had to basically learn everything all over again. So I walked in a nightclub. I used the restroom. I was engaged at the time. I came back out. I found my ex-fiance. We were on our way originally coming from a hospital because I had got ill. And we found out we were 6.5 weeks pregnant. And I just wanted to go home at this time. I didn't feel well at all. So on our way home, he noticed his best friend's vehicle outside of this nightclub. So that's what led us in the nightclub. And I had to use the restroom. And a young man was sitting nearby. He overheard the conversation. I guess he didn't agree with the conversation. We didn't know the young man, but the young man was intoxicated. He started an altercation. And all I remember is flying through the air like a bird. And I recall landing in what I call a wood parquet floor, and half of my body was, to me, in my mind, was literally embedded. Half of my body was embedded. That's how hard this fall was. I thought my legs were laying up in the air, straight in front of me. So I kept asking if someone could please just put my legs down. And I overheard the officer tell another officer, "Oh, she's paralyzed." I just wanted to live. I just wanted to survive. I had a child at the time. I totally forgot I was 6.5 weeks pregnant, and I recall making it. I'm here today, and I'm grateful. So I was a young mother with a newborn who I raised pretty much on my lap with this type of chair. And we did what we had to do. Eventually, I bought a beautiful home, and I bought a car, and I was able to raise my kids no differently than anyone else, just in a different way, from a seated position. Within the first, I would say, 6 months after my injury, after arriving home, I developed these symptoms where I could be rolling down the hallway and I would get extremely fatigued and dizzy to the point where I knew I was going to fall, like pass out. I would pull up beside the wall in my hallway, lay my head there, and I would be there for a good 45 minutes to an hour just leaning my head because of the extreme fatigue and dizziness. I went to the hospital for almost 18 years asking different doctors, sharing certain symptoms about the dizziness, the blurriness with my eyes, extreme brain fog going on. I have what's called short-term and intermediate memory loss, and that is due to brain injury. No one ever explained to me, though, that that's what that was from. All these years, all of the struggling I went through, I would never have known I had a brain injury. I've been running around here telling people I had chronic fatigue syndrome because I went to see so many doctors, and we tried to diagnose me. And finally, CFME came back. But guess what? CFME has a lot of the same symptoms of a brain injury. And it wasn't until I met Laura Johnson with Brain Injury Alliance of Arizona at a town hall meeting at the Ability 360, I heard her tell her story. And when she told her story, oh my God, alarm bells just went off. I began to connect so many dots because she was really telling my story. And that's where my journey really began, with finding out about my own brain injury. One of my fears I've had for many, many years with driving has been, God forbid, if I have to be stopped by an officer. I understand they have to do their job. In my case, I do use a wheelchair. And the way that I always put my chair in a car normally was my children, my brothers, we always put my chair in the trunk. And the reason why I would do that is because I don't want to fall victim to anyone. I feel safer not having my chair visible. The problem with that is I worry about police officers. God forbid if they stop me and they tell me to get out the car, And I go to explain to an officer, well, officer, I need them to give me a chance, first of all, to collect my thoughts, because with a brain injury, can you imagine where my nerves may go? And I may pause longer than most due to fear or brain fog. So I need for officers to understand that they need to just give people a bit more time to collect their thoughts. Because what I would need to explain is that my chair's in the back because I don't want to fall victim, because I do have paralysis. But I just need you to know my chair is in the back of the car for that reason. Please don't pull me out. I've always been afraid of being dragged out of my vehicle because of an officer thinking that I'm just being a smart mouth. Because I may look a certain way, they don't see the chair visible, but meanwhile, I can't walk nor can I stand.